Well. UFC Fight Night, Cejudo versus Yadong just took place, and oh my god, there's a lot to talk about. Banger card. Main event was a disgrace. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna start with the prelims though. Modestas Bukauskas versus Rafael Cerqueira. Now I picked Modestas Bukauskas. You see my record on the screen. I'll throw it up right now, and it'll move up and down as we go through each fight. Bukauskas looked a lot quicker. Sakari was landing some good leg kicks in the first, but Bukauskas' pressure was really nice. They both landed some pretty good shots, but Bukauskas' pressure was just what ended up getting it done. He pushed him up against the cage, landed a flurry, and got a big knockout. It was an awesome, super fun way to start the night of fights. Got that pick right. Nursultan Ruzaboyev took on Eric Makoniko. This was honestly a pretty fun fight. It started off really slow. They were kind of just feeling each other out. Ruzaboyev was getting the better of exchanges, using his size to his advantage, pressing forward and kind of pushing Makoniko back. Ruzaboyev at one point initiated the clinch and quickly backed off because Makoniko was actually finding some success in there. It was a very uneventful first round. I did score it for Ruzaboyev though. Just, he was imposing his stature. He's a big dude, and that's exactly what I thought he was going to do. And I guess Makoniko's corner told him to engage a little more in the second, and it really cost him because Ruzaboyev caught him with a big right that had him doing the chicken dance. He looked like a disgrace out there. He was breakdancing. He definitely had some heart though. He was getting up, trying to fight back, but Ruzaboyev knocked him down a couple more times. The ref saw enough. That was it. It was an easy TKO win for Nursultan Ruzaboyev. This dude's kind of a killer. He finishes everybody. It's pretty cool. The night of fight started off to a good start with 2 finishes. Nikolai Veretednikov. I'm bad at pronunciation. Versus Austin Vanderford. Well, my god, this fight. Let me start off by saying I didn't make an official prediction for this because this fight was put up very short notice, so I will not count this as a win or a loss on my record, but what I will give myself credit for is that they introduced someone I said, based on vibes, Austin Vanderford's getting this one done. And he did. He did, and he dominated. He went out there, he was very explosive with his grappling, got some big takedowns, landed some good ground and pound. He was honestly close to getting a submission in the end of the first round, and then in the second he got a big takedown and landed big ground and pound. And it was a very strange stoppage. Was it early? Not at all. He was landing like 20 to 30 seconds of ground and pound before the ref stopped in. But Nikolai just wasn't very hurt, so he protested the stoppage, but it's like, buddy, you weren't doing anything to defend yourself. Like, you weren't trying to better your position. Obviously, they're going to stop it. He got mad and pushed Vanderford after the fight. What a coward. Absolute pipsqueak. Cut him from the company. Good for Austin Vanderford. And he's going to go home and lay some down on Paige Van Zant. So good for him, I guess. Anyways, moving on. Ricky Simone. Title run starts now. Blonde Simone versus Javid Basharat. I picked Javid Basharat, but I did say in my prediction video that this is a great underdog pick. Ricky Simone is a beast. And now looking back at it, I'm kind of like, wow, I should have seen this one coming. Ricky Simone has fought some seriously good opponents, and Javid just really hasn't. Simone was very explosive. He literally picked up and threw Javid down, was engaging a lot more with the grappling. Striking was better. He landed an absolute bomb down the middle with a right hand on Javid Basharat that put him out insanely bad. Literally one of the most brutal knockouts we've seen in a minute. Ricky Simone, he's actually very, very good. I mean, he's 21-6. He was on a 3-fight losing streak, but look at the guys he was losing to. Like, he lost to Vinicius Oliveira. That's literally a future champ. It was very impressive. Good for Ricky Simone. I'm happy for him. Kind of like him better than Javid, so I'm not mad about this. But, yeah, Javid got put out bad. Mansour Abdul Malik versus Nick Klein. Now, this was kind of shocking, but it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was at first. Mansour Abdul Malik was a huge favorite, like minus 1,600. He was supposed to go out there and kill him. Nick Klein went out there and just would not stop spamming takedowns. As you can see, he was 1 for 9. It was kind of a smart strategy just to frustrate Malik. It wasn't working too well. He did throw a spinning back fist that landed on the point of his elbow on Malik. I don't know how Malik didn't go down. He has a crazy chin on him for that. And Nick Klein's an idiot. Instead of trying to go for shots and finishing it, he just went for a takedown. And we'll get into more retardation later on this card. But that was crazy. I don't think he lands that exact elbow. Like, he maybe lands it once or twice out of 100 times. So it was definitely a lucky shot. In my opinion, it was a great shot for Nick Klein. But if they fight 100 times, I don't think it's happening every time. And then in the second round, it was more like what we thought was going to happen. Malik went out there, stuffed every takedown, literally grabbed Nick Klein like a little, I can't even say it, like a coward, a pipsqueak, and threw him to the ground, and just landed ground and pound, and shots up against the cage. And Nick Klein did nothing to really defend, and got absolutely lit up. So Malik did what we thought he was going to do in the second round, but in the first, it was a little bit more of adversity. He did acknowledge that it wasn't a great performance, which I like to hear. You're going to have fights like this sometimes. We'll see what's next for him. I still think he's good, but getting hit by a spinning elbow from Nick Klein's not a great look. Oof. Andre Fili versus Malakaizo Costa. This one was tough. So, admittedly, I was a little sidetracked because I was making food during this fight. But from what I saw some back and forth shots, little pitter-patter shots. Obviously, Costa was getting the better of him. Look at the strike totals. And then he goes for a kick. I did see Andre Fili was emoting, trying to get the crowd hyped, was kind of mocking Costa. Caught the kick, goes for a takedown, perfectly shot takedown. I thought he was chilling. I thought he was just going to ride out the first round with 30 seconds left. He was just, chilling. And then he tapped out. Malakaizo Costa put him in a guillotine. Yes, Andre Fili, professional fighter with that many fights on it, 36 fights on his record, tapped out to a guillotine. I did not think Malakaizo Costa was ready for this opponent. I thought Andre Fili was going to be too tough for him. Proved to be very wrong, and it was a good win. But man, that birthmark situation was very unfortunate. So, good for Costa. Your birthmark's hideous. Moving on. Oh my god. Jan Kutalaba versus Ibo Aslan. What do I even say? Besides, oh my god. So obviously I picked Ibo Aslan. The odds were pretty close, but I thought Ibo Aslan's just better. I did say these are the fights Jan Kutalaba somehow wins though, and look what he did. He went out there and did it. These guys were throwing bombs to start the fight. Literally just throwing so hard I thought their arms were going to fly off. Kutalaba gets a takedown and latches up an arm triangle. Don't know how neither of these guys got knocked down because of the shots they were landing. It was a very good win for Kutalaba. His post-fight interview was hilarious. This dude's definitely listening to that new Jello ball the way he's tweaking, and seems very sauced up or something because my god, he's just insane. Jan Kutalaba title run starts now. This dude's crazy. His fights are always insane. If it stayed standing, I think Ibo Aslan probably could have got it done because he was just landing some crazy shots. The totals were close, but I thought he was hitting him harder than Jan Kutalaba was. But he got his first career submission. That's insane. Moving on. Prelims were an absolute W. And then immediately on the main card, we got our first decision, which sounds awful. But this fight was actually really good. Not because these fighters are good, but just because it was chaos. Now, I picked Alonzo Menifield to beat Julius Walker because getting Alonzo Menifield in your debut is crazy. And I will say this, I'm very impressed by Julius Walker. Of course, it was only 1 for 9 on takedowns, but he was shooting so many takedowns, and his cardio was really good for a light heavyweight. It was kind of a crazy pace for light heavyweights. At one point, he even rocked Menifield, and instead of going for the finish, he went for a takedown. My god. And he's like, how old is this guy? Does it say? How old is Julius Walker? 25. He was balding. He's 25 and he was balding. Okay. Anyway, moving. That's not important. Not important at all. My god, he's balding. Where was I? He rocked Menifield. Honestly looked really good in this fight. Look at the stats on this. Very competitive. But Menifield definitely was getting the better of him in exchanges. Landing some bombs. The pace was crazy on this one. I definitely thought Menifield won 2-1. And that's exactly what they did. And yeah, I thought it was a good decision. It was a split decision, which was a little bit scary. But I thought Menifield clearly got it 2-1 at least. But yeah, I was impressed with Julius Walker. Give him some unranked guys. He's going to absolutely run through them. I think he's going to be too much for a lot of unranked light heavyweights and even some guys in the top 15 if he can improve. I think an improved Julius Walker in a year or two would beat this version of Menifield. So, yeah, it was cool. Oh my god. Gene Silva versus Melsik Bagdasaryan. Gene Silva did even better than I thought, and I picked him to win by knockout. Melsik Bagdasaryan's a real good fighter. If you don't know, he's actually a good fighter. Gene Silva went out there and showed that he's for real. He's way too quick. He's way too powerful. He was emoting. He was out there making TikToks on his grave. He was. Emoting, catches him with a right, puts him out bad, points at him hey, he's dead. And the ref's just huh? And they're all looking at each other. Jumps on him, lands ground and pound, lands vicious elbows to the body. It was a beautiful performance. Gene Silva's for real, and I don't want to glaze him too much, but my god, who's going to beat this guy? It's going to take someone very good that's going to have to catch him. But it's this dude was taking shots from Drew Dober. I don't know who at featherweight's going to be able to put him out like that. Maybe a Diego Lopez. Oh my god. I just got excited. Gene Silva versus Diego Lopez in the future would be absolutely bananas. But Gene Silva, put him in a main event. He called out Bryce Mitchell. Oh, God. They're definitely going to make that fight happen. They are not happy with Bryce Mitchell right now for certain reasons. And I think Gene Silva would beat Bryce Mitchell. I think his grappling's good enough to stay on the feet. And I think he'd Josh Emmett 2.0 him. So, maybe after he puts Bryce Mitchell out, he'd be in the afterlife with his good pal Adolf. But yeah, Gene Silva's that guy. Rob Font. Now this fight has me happy. Oh my God, he got 7 takedowns. Okay, I feel like a genius because I went with Rob Font. This was my scary underdog pick. Rob Font went out there and did what I thought he was going to do. Piece him up. Clearly had an advantage on the feet. Gene Mastamuto still did pretty good. He held his own on the feet for sure. And as you can see, he got 7 out of 10 takedowns. So that alone, it looks like maybe he could have won the fight. But it was a split decision. I think Rob Font clearly won 2-1. I know some people probably aren't going to agree with that. I thought Rob Font won the first round and the third round. First round, Rob Font went out there. They touched gloves and then he started piecing him up. He was like, thought you had a friend. Ah! He was absolutely piecing up Gene Mastamuto. Mastamuto did get a takedown near the end of the first round and only had like a minute of control time. So I clearly gave that to Font because he was just landing some better shots. Second round, Mastamuto got a lot of takedowns. I think like 3 or 4. So I was like, okay, got that round. Third round, Rob Font goes out there and just puts a pace on him, starts striking with him, hits him with a lead front elbow, busts him up, absolutely pieces him up. Rob Font's a beast. He redeemed my Calvin Kattar pick from last week because this pick felt very similar. And yeah, Rob Font's just that guy. He's a great fighter to put at featherweight, like to test guys who want to be ranked. He called for someone ahead of him. I mean, I get it. I think he could deserve that, but I also think a fight against like a Marcus McGee would be a banger. So we'll see what's next for Rob Font. I'm very glad he got this done. Gene is going to be a problem. He's clearly very good. Look how even he was with Rob Font. Super good fight. I think Gene beats a lot of guys just entering the rankings, honestly. So we'll see what's next for both of these guys. Very glad I got this pick right. Moving on to another pick I got right. Brendan Allen versus Anthony Hernandez. This fight was just an absolute train wreck. Now, Anthony Hernandez terrified me because I really like him. First round starts, Brendan Allen goes out there looking like Prime Mayweather or something. Just absolute beautiful boxing combos. And then throws a head kick that hits Anthony Hernandez in the head so hard. But Hernandez caught it and took him down. It was just an incredible sequence. I was baffled by what was going on. I did not realize Brendan Allen didn't even get a takedown. That's crazy. Brendan Allen clearly won the first round. He had a lot of control time near the end, even some submission attempts, landed good shots on the feet. He clearly won on the feet. And then in the second round, Hernandez went out there, landed about 4 minutes of control time to Allen's 30 seconds or so. There was a lot of reversals, a lot of submission attempts in this fight. I know it says it's only 1-0, but they were definitely going for more than that. That stat's just wrong. The grappling in this fight was honestly insane. It's super fun to watch two elite grapplers like this. And then in the third round, Anthony Hernandez did what I would be raging about if anyone else did. But since I like Anthony Hernandez, I'm totally okay with it. He just wasted the clock, held down Brendan Allen for the entire round, and secured the decision. Brendan Allen was mad at the decision, like he somehow won, thinking he did something in round 2 or 3. Hernandez got it done. He did say that he was sick and just got off of antibiotics yesterday. You know what? Give him the benefit of the doubt. I hope that's the case, because he did show me some stuff in this fight that has me worried for the future. Guys in the top 10 might be able to capitalize on it. Granted, I don't think guys like Marvin Vettori or like a Roman Dolidze would be able to stand a chance against Hernandez. Maybe Anthony Hernandez could fight like a Cannonier or something. I think that would be a banger. I want to see how people matchmake him, but off the top of my head, they're on similar schedules. They both come off wins. I think that'd be a banger, and I think Anthony Hernandez would be able to drown a lot of guys still, because his pace is crazy. Very glad he got this done. And moving on to the main event. Good Christ. Alright. Now I'm going to be a little bitter, because the way this fight ended just has me so confused. Henry Cejudo versus Song Yadong. I picked Cejudo. It was a bold take. First round starts. Cejudo looks pretty quick. Song Yadong looks very calculated and patient. He was catching Cejudo coming in. Cejudo was doing great with feints. He was faking takedowns. He was landing good leg kicks. He looked very fast out there. Song Yadong did do a little bit better. I think he did win the first round. The second round, very close. I honestly kind of leaned Henry Cejudo getting the second round. I thought he did a little bit more. I thought his strikes were better. I believe in the second round he even busted up Song Yadong's nose, was getting through with some shots. I was very confident at this point. I was confident in my pick. I was like, old head is back. Third round. I can't even tell you what happened in the third round because so much shenanigans went down. I just remember it being a close round. Pretty even. Song might have been pulling ahead a little bit. And then he cupkicks Cejudo. It's okay. And then he double eye pokes Cejudo in both eyes. You heard that right, double eye poke. And I was like, okay, that's fine. They didn't take a point, and I thought that was fine too because it was 2 different fouls. If it happens again, take a point. But, it's okay. Everything's fine. Cejudo saying he can't see. He milks the clock for 5 minutes. Literally just sits there, doesn't blink or anything. Like, he's fine. I was like, he's just milking the clock so he can recover a little bit and get more stamina. It was stupid, but I wasn't mad at it. Then he spends the last 30 seconds of that round running away. I'm like, that's weird. In between rounds, he says he can't see, and that he was running because he couldn't see what Song was throwing. He's telling his coaches this. They call the fight. They go to a technical decision, which I have never even seen in my life. And they give it to Song Yadong. This is baloney. I picked Cejudo. I don't even feel like I deserve to lose this pick. But it's fine. I'll just do it. I guess. Absolute garbage. I think Cejudo was just getting started. I think he was about to start landing some takedowns. Gonna start brutalizing Song Yadong. Start beating Yadong. Holy crap. That's a terrible sentence. I need to edit that out or something. I'm gonna leave it in. Beating Yadong. Jesus Christ. Okay. Now, one judge gave it 30-27, which I thought was diabolical. But it's okay. Song Yadong got it done. They said, let's run it back. I don't care. I don't want that. Cejudo, you're cooked. I don't know whose side to be on. Because if Cejudo really couldn't see, there's no chance Song Yadong should get the win for eye-poking him into oblivion. But I also feel like Cejudo did a really bad job at dealing with this. Like, he didn't even care either. That's what's crazy. He didn't even care that they gave it to Song Yadong. It was just a pathetic way to end the fights. After such a good night of fights. Whatever. We'll see if they rematch. I don't even know if the UFC will do that, though. I think they're going to match these guys up against other opponents. It was a good night of fights. But my God, this was stupid. Anyways, like the video, comment, subscribe. Have a good one.